see if I can do that. Dean Price of New Earth Expo. Is that right? New Earth Expo? So many conferences that I appreciate you having me on your conference last weekend, and thank you for putting on a great show. It was successful, and we did it without many people wearing masks. And I appreciate you giving me this wonderful astrological reading today on what's going on with my chart. And here's my chart. And it's hard to read anything.
This is today's heliocentric chart.
What pops out at you and what makes me me? Can you prove that there's a reason why I am the way I am with my astrology? Since you know me, yes, since you know me so well and you're an astrologer, this is an excellent reading, and I really appreciate you doing this for me. Thank you for what pops out at you when you look at my chart.
This weekend you're having your second Saturn return.
My second Saturn return?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm gonna.
That means I'm almost 60. Since they're 29 here.
29. So
yeah.
You must be
okay.
around 58, right?
Yes.
So.
What does that mean? My second Saturn return.
That's what I'm going to tell you. But it'll be easier for me to focus if
I won't say anything anymore.
Okay, great. Because I have to just sort of tune in
and
talk and not do too much dialoguing. So Saturn, first I'm going to explain Saturn. Saturn takes 29 years to go around. We all know what Saturn looks like. It's got multiple rings around it.
Mm-hmm.
And those rings symbolize boundaries or structures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, a house
mm-hmm.
is a Saturn thing. It's a container. Saturn is the 8th major celestial body in
mm-hmm.
the solar system. If you start with the Sun is 1, Mercury 2, Venus 3, Earth 4, Mars 5, asteroid belt 6, Jupiter 7, Saturn 8. So the symbol of Saturn would be something constructed of 8 points, which is a cube.
Yeah.
Or a box.
Right.
Or a house, or a room, or any kind of a container,
mm-hmm.
a building. And so when Saturn goes around and you complete one cycle, it's kind of like when you leave the building.
Mm-hmm.
And you just left a building, for example, where
mm-hmm.
you work.
Mm-hmm.
That represents the last 29 years.
Right. That's why I was so compelled to retire and leave the building.
Exactly. You left the building. And how long did you work there?
Yeah, about 22, 3 years.
Yeah, so
just
most
for them.
of the time has been spent in that building.
Right.
And so it's a container that is done.
I'm done with the container. I left.
Yeah. And it's perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Perfect.
And 3 days from now, you begin the new cycle, which will last till you're 87.
Whoa, that's perfect.
So another way to look at this, let me describe each cycle. If a person were to live to 116 years old, you would complete 4 cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And often you'll hear, the oldest person in the world died, they were 116 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Happens very frequently.
Yeah.
Because, then the next oldest person dies. Because they all just start dying, what I mean?
Because they saw there was time to leave the container.
It's time to leave the 4th container.
Right.
And so I would call those just as metaphors. I would say the first Saturn cycle, 0 to 29, is the springtime of your life.
Mm-hmm.
The second Saturn cycle is the summer of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And now you begin the autumn of your life.
Oh, good.
Isn't that fun? And that sounds kind of depressing in some ways, but it's not. I've been in the autumn of my life for, a decade now. And a lot of people, I noticed a lot of people that were my classmates in school, same age as me, retire Oh, what did you just do? Retired.
Yes,
Many people retire on their second Saturn return.
I did. I retired on my second Saturn return.
That is so
It's so perfect.
normal. And it's 58 years old, like the supposed official retirement age is a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
But many people retire at 58.
Yeah.
But everybody pretty much retires between 58 and 87 during the autumn. And I probably used to put on maybe 30 to 40 events a year.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hit my second Saturn return, where most people retire, I didn't retire, but I started slowing it down. And I started changing it
Mm-hmm.
to more online events or
Mm-hmm.
having other people help me with certain parts of it. So I don't really do as much as I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like Emrys and Sophia, my son, and his girlfriend do the marketing, and I just sell the booths. So I'm almost retired. I'm mostly just walking around talking to people,
Mm-hmm.
Selling them more booths.
Mm-hmm.
So some people don't totally retire at 58, but they start gradually easing themselves out.
What did you mean by the opposite Saturn with the rising and the one of them's going down, one of them's coming up? Opposite
I don't
Saturn.
remember saying that. When did I say that?
It was on the plane, and why that why I'm closing, chasing the cabal and closing the cabal because
Okay.
the opposite Saturn
I'm gonna have
is.
to stop reading this chart and read a different chart if you want to.
No, that's fine.
Well, that's okay. This is your heliocentric chart that I'm looking at, and I could take out today's chart, and then we could look at your natal chart. But this is your natal.
But today we know now because of the Saturn, and that
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's
the main thing. So if we go back to my natal chart, and you say to me why it was perfect that I'm the one to close down the cabal, to shut down the, you were saying.
Okay, when you were born,
Uh-huh.
looking at it from the Earth's perspective, so that's why this chart looks totally different than the one I was reading,
Uh-huh.
is that was from the sun's perspective. Because I wanted to show you when the real actual Saturn return is. Because from the Earth's perspective, Saturn will go back and forth 3 times.
Okay.
So we won't be able to say an exact date. We'll say this whole year is your Saturn return. And you will have 3 Saturn returns.
Okay.
And when you were born, Mars was opposite Saturn on the horizon of your chart. Mars, which looks like an erection, is that chakra. It is second chakra. And it is hormones, testosterone, passion, desire, war, sex, lust, all of those touching. That's Mars. And so Mars on your ascendant means you're an activist, you're passionate, you're aggressive, you're lustful, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, I hate to admit it.
There's nothing wrong with Mars energy, but it's a warrior.
I feel that energy, let's say.
The energy is very touchy, sexy, Mars, passionate, fighter, warrior, soldier, the kinds of energies.
Yeah, that's me.
And testosterone would be the key that binds all that together.
Yes.
And it's opposite Saturn. And again, Saturn is a structure or a container. So Saturn rules things like the organization,
court, law,
the structure, the law, the rules, the game,
sure,
the controllers.
Right. The controllers. That's why it's good that I'm born like that, so I can bring down
So you're destined to fight the controllers.
I am destined to fight the controllers.
And there's one thing up here that's very strong at the top that is trine the Mars and sextile the Saturn, and that is a little planet just discovered in 2005, 16 years ago, Eris. Eris was the sister of Mars. And she's helping. She's helping her brother Mars. And Eris is the goddess of consequences.
Ooh.
She's the goddess of karma.
Mm.
She's a warrior goddess. She's Xena, the warrior princess, or Mother Kali, or Gina Carrazzo in what's that TV show? She got fired for
Yeah, Xena.
Not Xena, but Gina Carrazzo played
I don't know. I don't watch
a
TV.
warrior princess kind of character that
Shh.
a little too
I'm not sure. It's okay. I don't watch TV.
posting against the government kinds of things, so she got fired. Well, you would like that show because it's the same we were watching last night.
I'll find out.
Yeah. But anyway, she's a badass woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't. You mess with her, she cuts off your fucking head and puts it on her necklace as a bead.
Sounds like Kali. Okay.
She is Mother Kali. So she was the sister of Mars, and she was snubbed and not invited to Perseus's wedding to the sea nymph. So what'd she do? She starts the Trojan War. Mm-hmm. Hell hath no fury.
Right.
Like a woman scorned. And so this is how you fight, is with consequences.
Okay. What else do you see in there?
And so
Pops out.
Well, we could look at the transits, but I don't know. It's really hard for me to read.
Just where it comes to you.
I know, but I have to just be in the flow. I can't.
You be in the flow. I'm sorry to interrupt.
You know what I'm saying?
Make it talk.
It's like it cuts off the flow, and then I have to start another flow.
Yes, you were flowing.
So anyway, I know you like to interview people.
I just want to know what.
Like that.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to see what sticks out to you about those are the two things that I remember. And is there anything else that you want to share that you might see? I know I have a stellium in Scorpio.
So again, you have to listen to what I'm saying.
I will. I won't say anything.
Because it just basically that's the off switch for the flow.
Okay, it is.
You know what I mean?
I understand completely.
That's just I just turned off that flow, and now Dean, would you go somewhere else and
I pulled a Said on you. I pulled a Said.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I did.
I have to start over now.
I know.
Because the flow has been
basically, I'm thanking you for what you've said already, and as a closing, is there anything else that sticks out that, like, I know I have a stellium in Scorpio, which is there's many planets in my Scorpio.
You don't have a stellium in Scorpio.
I do have a stellium.
You have a Virgo stellium, but
no, I have a stellium in Scorpio.
Sun and Moon and Neptune.
Is this my chart? I know I have a stellium in Scorpio. I've had my.
Tell me what the planets are. Well, you have Venus, the Moon, Neptune, and the Sun. Oh, that's a stellium, I guess. That's 4.
Just 4? I thought there were more.
Well,
okay.
You can look.
A stellium in Scorpio.
Sun, Neptune, Moon, Venus.
Okay. Wow. Well, I had a Nostradamus style. Oh, that is a stellium. Okay. Well, that's very powerful still. A stellium in Scorpio.
Well, the Moon conjunct Neptune makes you super sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you feel things like a sponge.
I do. I am sensitive. I do feel things like a sponge.
And that's Neptune. By the way, I don't read sun signs.
Okay.
So that's why I get really confused when you ask me about Scorpio.
Okay.
I don't know anything about sun signs.
Okay.
I don't read them. I mean, I
might
make
fine.
Jokes about them, but
no, you know more than I do about everything else, and I know about sun signs, so that's good.
Yeah,
that's all I know about is sun
about.
sign. Yeah,
but that's
that's right.
Those are prejudices and stereotypes.
They are because
that's
really,
like saying, "Oh, Gemini, you're an intellectual guy." No, I'm not. I'm a feeler.
Yeah. Because you have to go to their first house and their moon and
that's
everything
all bullshit.
else.
Actually, first house is the weakest part of the chart.
I thought that was your personality.
It's wrong.
It's
Most
not your
astrology
personality.
is fucked up.
Okay.
But if you want to know why, I will be happy to share that with you.
No, whatever. No, do what your style is, and I'm sorry to screw up your
okay.
flow. I'm like,
it's
God.
totally okay, but I can't. I mean, I won't be able to read that.
Yeah.
But because I'm in a download. Astro images. Here we go. So Michel Gauquelin was a statistician, French statistician. And he did research on like 50,000 famous people to see if sun signs or houses or any of the standard features of astrology could be statistically verified. And they couldn't. There was no, like you say, well, are Virgos neat and clean? Well, actually, no, they're the slobs of the zodiac by a slight percentage.
Hmm.
And then, but he did discover that the planets followed a pattern of like a sine wave, and the planets actually go in the opposite directions through the houses as they do through the signs. And that's why the big mistake in astrology was superimposing the signs onto the houses resulted in centuries of bad astrology.
They wanted to screw up the system,
Yeah, they did.
so people didn't get the
confuse it.
true.
So what people are repeating as astrology
Right.
is actually disinformation.
It is okay.
So if somebody asks me a question about the disinformation, I have to show you the statistics that disprove it.
Show me, tell me, do what you do.
So the actual strongest positions are the planets that are like great champion athletes have Mars here, or great generals have Jupiter here or here.
And do
Or
I have that there?
Great artists, musicians, performers,
Those are all me?
they have Venus and the Moon here. No, you don't have those.
Oh.
You have Eris here. Eris, the goddess of consequences.
Ooh.
You have the badass warrior goddess.
Oh, badass warrior goddess. Good.
That's your strongest energy.
Good.
Not that you're a woman, but you like badass warrior goddesses.
I'm balanced and
But you're
sensitive.
You're like the goddess of revenge. Like,
I feel like I am.
like, for example, what's going on at work, you retired, but you don't just retire, you sue them.
Well,
As their consequences,
Well,
karma, etc.
yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you're like that with probably everything. It's like, you're going to pay.
Yeah. Well, they didn't promote me, and I
Exactly.
built
So they get
built
the
the place.
They get the
they get the consequences. I built the place. I moved us.
Position. So
I got the highest
Eris.
awards. They never promoted me.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to experience the consequences.
They will. They will experience the consequences. Thank you.
They're going to get their karma.
Doing your style, looking back at what you like to look at, do what you do. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. I don't do readings as a...
Yeah, you do whatever. I'm sorry to say anything.
you
just-
should just
yeah.
your fucking...
I will keep my mouth shut.
Because then I can read it.
Then you read it. Do what you do.
read this. I don't
Read that then.
answer a question. Stupid. I just keep getting fucking news. So this is an alignment of Jupiter, Chiron, the Earth, the largest asteroid, Sirius, now a dwarf planet, Uranus, Vesta, Juno, Pluto. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 celestial bodies lined up in a row.
Wow.
Now, that was because it was the 60s.
Okay.
In the 60s, those planets lined up. And that's why we had the 60s.
Right.
And
That's
you were
why we
born
had.
at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this was a conflict. In this case, Jupiter is your beliefs, and Chiron is to heal or fix. And so one of the things that has to be fixed in the 60s is beliefs have to be healed. You know, people believe, like, whatever the war in Vietnam was about heroin. You know what I mean? But they believed it was about communism, right?
Maybe
that
both.
had to be fixed.
Yeah.
Or whatever else they thought of, like, we have to kill those little people. So anyway, this is liberation from false beliefs. Uranus is liberation from false beliefs. Your liberation from suffering. This is sexual liberation. This is partnership or liberation from a marriage. This is spiritual liberation from demons, actually. This is demonics.
Wow. I'm doing a lot of liberating.
Yeah. And, the 60s, everybody had this. But you have the sun right here forming this consciousness or awareness, which means the way to do your liberation is through awareness, through making people aware or showing them something, because it's the sun, like casting light on things, shedding light on things.
That's what I do.
And that is your strongest ways to show people how their beliefs are wrong.
Right.
Like, you believe in this virus, for example. Not you, I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right. They haven't been isolated or proven
So
to be existing.
part of your job is to show people
Exactly.
what's true and what's bullshit.
Yeah.
And
It is. The virus is bullshit. There's no virus.
yeah, and what is the truth about
It's a
what
retrovirus.
is the illness that people have? Are they getting sick from the variant or are they getting sick from the virus? Are they getting sick from the vaccine or the test or the
Right.
blah, 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 blah?
Or all the above.
Yeah, so this is like
Yeah.
healing people's beliefs.
Right.
Making
Good.
them aware of the
Okay, that
truth.
makes sense. I wanted to hear
You know,
that.
and this is liberation from suffering or stupidity or misunderstanding, liberation from that. And it's also, you're very involved in the 60s was a lot about this too. Vesta is vestal virgin. Uranus, liberation from virginity or something. You probably deflowered your share of people. And
No comment.
and so but this is sexual liberation.
Right.
And liberation from the concept of partnership or marriage. Like we were all programmed, well, you got to marry one person, stay a virgin, find your soulmate, marry them until one of you dies. You know what I mean? And that's liberation from that idea of commitment and all this stuff. So there's sexual liberation, marriage liberation, and spiritual liberation. And this is, and healing the beliefs, the false beliefs that cause those things, those problems that one needs to be liberated from. And it's all done through awareness and showing and helping people to understand and know and heal their false beliefs. Again, the moon is conjunct Neptune. That's a sponge drinking in everything. And the biggest problem, Sun square Saturn, other than all these oppositions, is that you have to create a structure, because the structures that you find yourself in are fucked up, and you fight against those structures because they're stupid. They're not aware. It says sun is awareness, seeing. Sun is light, shedding light, and using awareness to create a new structure. So you should be building.
That's what I'll be
houses
doing now.
or
Yes.
buildings or
I'll be doing that now.
or structures.
That's what I'll be doing. Good.
Is you're a manifester, because
Building new
that's
structures
a 90
to
degree
do.
angle, which 90 degrees is based on the number 4. 4 points, 3 points creates a plane, 4 points creates a solid. So this is to make aware structures solid. You know what I mean?
Platonic.
And or fight against
Sure.
the solid structures that you find yourself imprisoned in.
Yeah.
You know? So that's some of the things. Now let's look at the transits. Venus is retrograde, so you're more identified with divorce than marriage, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I love being divorced. I bought the house across the street from my ex-wife, but I love her. But
yeah,
she
you're more
never-
identified with getting out of
Yeah.
relationships than getting into them.
yeah, she didn't hear me speak or watch my videos or anything.
Oh my God.
Told me to be quiet at parties,
What did
not
she
talk
like
about my
about
crazy.
you?
I was her trophy husband.
Oh my. So, this is your geocentric chart. Saturn has already gone past itself, but it's going retrograde, so it's gonna go back over itself, and then go forward again. So you're just in the midst of your Saturn return. You've already moved on to the next structure, but you're gonna have to do your revising things. You're also changing your Jupiter. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around approximately, and so you're getting close to your 5th Jupiter return, which happens every 12 years. And it'll probably happen at 59 because it's not quite 12 years. But this means a change of the old belief system and the beginning of a new 12-year cycle of understanding and belief. So that's going on right now. But you're at the end of an old belief system. And okay. Okay, now do you have any questions?
Just this all looks Greek to me. I guess I recognize the symbols when I look closer, but just anything that sticks out to you or you want to add is fine. This was great. Thank you. This explains a lot of things that are it verifies that I'm going with the flow and on schedule, and this is exactly what I'll be doing. So thank you very much.
Sure.
I don't know what to say.
Oh, okay. Well, Yeah, we can do some more later, but I really have to just pack